All right. Marie-Chloé, right?
Yes, Marie-Chloé. You say it perfectly. It's surprising.
Yeah, French Marie-Chloé.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Ça va?
Oui, ça va, et toi? I was like, I was in French a little bit today, so my brain is kind of confused. Like, oh, but like French from France, so I was speaking very well.
Yeah. What's the difference between French in France and Quebec?
It's the same as like England and US.
Yeah.
So very different accent, very different like idiomatics.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have like a saying,
Yeah.
they're very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there stereotypes for like Quebecois and French?
Yeah. I mean, there's stereotypes for everything, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we sell like French Canadian TV, like Quebec TV to France, they will subtitle it.
Oh.
Yeah. And there were like jokes like everyone in Quebec is like a trapper and like we just like live in the forest. There's no city, but you know, it's like that was like a long time ago, like 400 years ago. So
How is Quebec now? Is Quebec like France? Like maybe Paris?
no, but we have old towns. So in Quebec City and in Montreal City and other cities everywhere, there's the oldest part of the town that has a very European vibe. Even Montreal is quite European, Quebec City, but then villages are very different. Constructions are very different. I guess because of the cold.
But have you been to France?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where in France?
I've been to the south of France and I've been to Paris multiple times. And
Yeah.
every time I'm like, I'm moving here. I love it.
Yeah? I've only been to Grenoble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what is that? Is that south of France?
I don't know.
And it's interesting because we were in Switzerland and we couldn't find a hotel room and we just drove across border and went to Grenoble and that's where we stayed the night.
Yeah.
So that's my exposure to France.
You gotta go back. I think you would love it. I mean, I don't know what's not to love about Paris.
Yeah?
It's great, but it's so good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about Quebec? What do you like about it? You're from Quebec, right?
I'm from northeast of Quebec. Like if you follow the St. Lawrence River, you start from Montreal, then you drive 3 hours, you get to Quebec City, and then an hour and a half later, following the river, you get to my hometown. So it's a village. I was from the city, but it's like 3,500.
Yeah.
And everything else around is 200, 300 people. So very rural, so quite different.
I took a couple of French classes during school, and my tutor, like one of the things that I remember, like pronouncing U, like Duval.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm pretty good at Duval.
Yeah.
Do you think the French invented pouting? Like,
I don't know. I didn't even know what parting was until now. So I feel like I'm learning new words.
yeah, but that's pouting. So you think probably French invented that?
I will need to put more thoughts into that one before creating a conflict between Quebec and French people. I do not want to carry that weight.
Anyways, so the thing that I noticed about you, you're super busy.
Yeah.
I don't know whether... So here's the thing. I've learned to know that Instagram is not always real life. But you have 20 stories every single day, and it's you just doing stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not even sharing everything I do because I'm like, no one would believe that day. And I don't like when people are, I'm so busy, like it's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice to get your days full, but I'm working a lot, but I have a lot of energy in a day. And the stories, for me, it takes 2 seconds. I'm not like, oh, I'm polishing everything and it has to be a certain way. I'm like, I don't even think about it. I'm doing something and I just really love what I'm doing. So I'm like, oh my God, this like brush stroke looks so good. So I'm like but I'm sharing right away, so it takes no time in my day. But yeah, the days are every month. I'm like, oh, next month I think it's gonna be quiet, and then I look and I'm like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to make the best out of all the experiences, and I also value a lot of my friendship time and quality time and traveling. So I try to do it all.
But the stories are pretty nice too, and I think not a lot of people have that kind of a lifestyle, like busy lifestyle, to be able to post anything. I mean, I could start posting about like glass of water, but that won't be that interesting.
But I think I had this discussion recently with a friend, and she was like, oh, what I do is not interesting. Like, she's an architect, and I'm like, no, this is interesting. Like, because it's something that we don't know about, and I think it's why I'm so interested in sharing. Part of me is, well, it's a job that we see only the result, but there's all the work behind. So I kind of want to advocate of be this educational kind of thing of like, there's so much work behind a piece. There's so much work behind being an artist that is not only the fun of painting. There's the meetings, they're engaging with people, supporting friends, showing up to openings. There's so much work carrying your artwork in the train in New York. This is insane, but you know, like I've carried pieces that, you know, so big.
Yeah.
Because that's what you have to do. So I like to show that and show everything that comes at play when it's time to talk about a career as an artist. But I feel like anything is interesting because people like to know the work behind it and the stories. So yeah, I think everything.
And your art pieces are pretty big too. So like carrying them around?
Yes. I mean, I try not to, but I wanted art on my walls.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring it. So for a whole year, I didn't bring anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to put stuff on my walls. You've seen my walls at the shows. It's like I have high ceilings, and it was very sad without art. And I love art. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring some pieces. Yeah, but I don't carry them, but I have to for shows and other events. And the easiest way is still the train, because the size of my pieces would probably require a truck. We're not even talking like once I order an Uber, an XL, not big enough. Another XL, not big enough. Ordered a minivan, not big enough. So I was like, well, I'm just going to walk the painting with a friend. Yeah. Because it becomes kind of ridiculous in terms of time and money, to rent a truck every time you have to do something. Yeah.
I never thought about that. Your paintings don't fit in Ubers.
No.
Never.
Well, some of them, but...
Maybe the smaller ones. But most of them are really, really big.
Yeah, it's a real challenge. It really, like, and you think that I've come to know trunks quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, it's a SUV, it's big. No, because they're kind of rounded. And the opening, if you want to put it at an angle, is not going to fit. There's only like the ones that like are really wide. Anyways, it's a car discussion right now, but yes, it's a real challenge. I need a pickup truck, you know, this is my destiny.
Yeah. I have a pickup truck, so if I ever like make bigger paintings, I think I'm in a good position. I have the truck.
You're ready.
Not the paintings.
We'll switch.
Yeah. So like, for example, for today, what did you do today? Because you were at some exhibition today.
Yes. The days are never the same, I would say. I'm very organized with my schedule.
Yeah.
So I'm very adamant on keeping painting studio practice days like 10, 12 hours uninterrupted. That's what I do. And then I have days that are half days of painting, and then the other half day meetings or installation or whatnot. Today is special because it's the week before an exhibition.
Yeah.
So I was making sure the walls are well painted. printing the labels, installing the work, creating the work, which pieces is gonna go. I had a lunch meeting with a client, and then I had a studio visit with a friend who's in the art world from Paris. And yeah, that was my day, kind of like installing, painting the floors, painting the walls, meetings, then finishing up touches on the exhibition, and then I'm here.
So you have to do like.
Oh, and I had a meeting this morning. Yes, that's true. I forgot. I had a meeting.
And then you probably ran too?
I did not. I'm such a bad runner these last 2 weeks. I've been so bad because I just don't have it in me. But tomorrow I'm going to be running. Yeah.
You run all the time, no?
I try like 3 to 5 times a week. Yeah.
Did you run the New York Marathon?
No, I've been. I do halves, but I've tried to get into the New York half every year. It's a lottery. I haven't gotten in, but I've done the Brooklyn half in April.
And you have run marathons before, no?
Just the halves.
Just the half?
Yeah.
And you really like running?
I really do.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I think I just need it because it just... Sometimes my mind gets tired, but not my body. So I'm like, okay, I need this, like, and it's my meditation, and it's my time alone. It's my time with my music. I like to feel that I'm like strong in my body, and then I can accomplish things. And yeah, it's just a moment I don't think. It makes me really happy, and I love being active, but I hate anything that's like 6 to 7 at this place. Oh, that's like, I dream of doing all these like Pilates and whatnot, but like, I don't know, Monday maybe I have to work or have to do this. So I hate this organization, so I just run. So I do it all my time, whenever it's more convenient.
Whenever during the day?
Mornings.
Morning?
And then sometimes lunch breaks.
Oh, so okay, that's interesting.
Never at night. I told you, I was like, well, 10 is too late, because I'm like, I know myself, by 9, I have no more energy.
Yeah.
And it's like at my quiet time.
I just remembered something. I didn't turn off the AC.
Oh.
It's much quieter now,
It's much quieter. You're gonna have so much work of editing everything, all that white noise.
Yeah. But with the running. So here's another thing. I'm always inspired by people who put in a lot of work to whatever they do.
Same.
And you have a very busy schedule, and I see you do everything. Like today was super busy, like just by looking at your Instagram stories. And I know that a lot of people may think that Instagram stories are not reflective of real life, but your Instagram stories are just your day.
Yeah.
You do a lot of that stuff in that day. It's not that you're just posting a picture or something.
No, I'm doing the thing day. It's the day.
It's that entire day.
I have no interest in going back in the things. I'll repost something like an exhibition or like... Yeah. But it's kind of a journal of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself as a hardworking person?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think.
Where do you get that from?
It's always been valued where I'm from to be a hard worker. And I've seen my uncles, I've seen my family. My grandpa was working on a farm. And it's always been like a hardworking person, And I've always been in contact with hardworking people, working the land, going in the forest, cutting the trees. So I've always heard that, they're working hard, like it's a good thing. And even if I don't know how much it affected like what's in me and what I've learned, but yeah, I like to do things fully and push it and go for what you're trying to achieve. And I moved to this country, I wanted to achieve things. So I have this feeling of like, I'm here, I gotta make the best out of it. And I made a choice to be an artist. I mean, everything's a choice at some point, but I made this choice and I'm like, okay, it has to work because I've got no plan B. So, so I'm putting all the work I can while being balanced. I was with my client today, I was saying, like, younger, I felt like I had to do everything. Now I'm better at choosing what I'm doing. I don't feel like I have to be present at every opening. Well, it's impossible in the city, but I'm okay with going to one show that I will really be there fully instead of 3 that I'm going and I'm not really there and I'm too tired or I'm just like passing through. So, yeah, working better.
You think hard work is something that we learn?
I think there's both. I think you learn to work hard, but it's also, I think it's a lot of, I had read this article years ago in a photography magazine, and they were saying there's passion and there's devotion. And like devotion is like showing up day after day. And I think, yeah, like, I don't know, like I used to play the classical piano like from age 6 to 12. So like, I'm not like the next Mozart.
Okay, let's bring the piano. Let's.
I've been wanting to get back to it, but I know I won't be able to commit now. So when it's the right time, I will, but I was not even good. But I remember wanting to quit. You're 12, you're in high school, you don't want to practice every day for an hour. But I had made this commitment that I was going to do it, and my parents said, it's okay, you can decide not to do it, but you got into it, you're finishing what you got into, which is this semester, then you can make the decision. So I was always taught to finish what I started, and if I'm doing it, I'm better to do it fully. And I always think about it, I'm like, well, I'm already doing it, so just do it well.
Yeah.
But I have to remind myself, because sometimes I would cut the corners a little bit. I'm like, no, you're already doing it, just do it.
Because I had the same conversation a couple of episodes before, and that was with Clayton, and he is also very busy, super busy. Like he works seven days a week. He has school and he has work, and he's pretty much busy all the time. And part of the reason that I'm into this, like I started doing podcasts as well, was that I like hard work, and I also want to like be connected to people who really, really work hard. So technically, if people work hard, you see them in this massive crowd of New York City. It's very hard to discover someone who is not a very hard worker and discover them in New York City. So the reason that I probably discovered you or any of the couple of guests that I've had on this podcast before is that probably they had some aspect of hardworking in them. And that's what I've noticed in you as well. Are you the eldest child in the family?
No, I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest.
Yes.
You see, I was about to say that probably you're the eldest child and that's why you're hardworking, because I am the eldest child.
No, my brother is hardworking too.
Yeah? So it's probably the entire family that works hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mom's totally hyperactive. She's retired now, but you can't sit her.
Yeah.
She's always doing something. Even like, I'm like, okay, like I'm good at chilling, like I'm really good at chilling. Yeah. She's not. And I'm like, okay, take it easy, Mom. Like there's no rush, enjoy like doing nothing. But at 64, she hasn't quite gotten there yet. So, yeah.
One of the things with my family, like with my mom is probably not the most hardworking one, but my dad, he has been like my entire life. I've known him as somebody like who works super hard. And the hard times and good times and all of those times he worked super hard. And I think that was pretty inspiring for me too. And sometimes I sit down and I do think about this, whether I learned hardworking or was it something like genetically passed down to me. Yeah. But one of the things that I always think about is that I always looked at him like the way he worked hard. It really like like sometimes you watch this movie that's super inspiring and you want to be that person in the movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing for me with hardworking people. And the first person who did that was my father.
Yeah.
Like every time I looked at him, the way he worked hard, and I would be like, once I grow up, I'm gonna work as hard as
Yeah.
this guy.
But there's also like working hard, but like at what cost? Like, and I keep that in mind of like, I make sure to work hard at my friendships as well, my family. Because I'm not working hard to get, X amount of money. That's like, that's not my driving thing. It's to, like share my art and make more art and have the ability to keep making art full time. But I don't want to have like this crazy success and have no friends and family. Like there's no point to that. So it does have a lot of value to have amazing family and friendships, but it adds work in a way because I want to show up for people. So it's a balance.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's slightly different. I think I worship hard work and I worship money. For a lot of people, that may sound weird, but I really, really chase money most of the time.
But that's good, and there's nothing bad about it. I think the bad thing is to be hypercritical about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So I guess, what do you worship? Like if you had to think about it, like this is the
freedom.
one thing. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of easy for me. It's freedom. And like freedom has different shape and meaning and it evolves. But it's really the freedom of like choosing the career I want to do, choosing the people I want to do, choosing where I put my time, choosing to take a day off. Being my own decision maker.
That's interesting to know because my wife, she also she worships freedom, but like given that she comes from Afghanistan, like it's telling that she worships freedom. You can tell, but it was surprising for me to know that you worship freedom. Why?
Because I don't know. I'm like a very very free spirit minded while being I believe quite grounded, but I think it's the most important thing, and it can be from freedom as a woman, freedom as a human being. Those are extremely important, but the freedom of choice, and I believe in free will, but I think it's totally biased at the same time. It's easy to say, oh, you can decide whatever you want. Well, it's not, because if you're given a set of conditions, your free will is within a certain range. It's true that you have all this, but to access some of it, if you're given these conditions, it's going to be much harder. So I wish everyone had the free and freedom that I have the chance to experience. And I very much value that and the chance that I have. And I don't know. It's in me that not wanting to follow the codes of like, this is what you should do. This is how life goes. By this age, you do this career. It just doesn't make sense to me to just go through life following rules that are supposed to be okay, but why? I don't know.
Do you find the same thing with your art too? Like, do you reflect freedom? Do you think you're free with your art?
Yeah. And it was like hard at the beginning because I've always loved, for me, art is expression and experimentation. And I was working at the time on like 4 to 5 series at the same time, kind of like couple months there, but they were kind of all ongoing. And people were like, oh, you'll find your style. And I was like, it's odd to me that I need to be in a specific, very strict box to be a good artist. And I always like, and I know I'm fighting something that's harder, because if I was just having that one style and changing it a little bit and that one subject matter, it would be a more, an easier way. But my job is to create something and follow what I'm believing it and creating it and putting it into visuals. So why would I put myself in a box? It makes no sense. So I've changed styles through different series, and it's scary at first because as an artist, you kind of want to be recognized for what you do or your style. But I can't do that. So I'm either stupid or naive or very smart. I don't know yet. Time will tell. But I truly believe that that's my job, to just be exploring and pushing what I'm exploring, for sure, and being committed into something, but not being held into a box. Yeah.
So, do you think with you go to school here, right?
Yeah, I just finished
Yeah.
again.
Do you think that school also limits that freedom in terms of art expression?
I think it depends for each. I went back to school after my first degrees. I painted for 7 years before going to school in arts. And I think that was really good for me because I already had years of experience and I was more mature and I knew what I was okay to grow with, change, and what I was not gonna accept or was not for me. So I think for me that was really good. It pushed me, it challenged me. And I knew that, okay, you can say that, but I know it's not for me. And you have to be okay with that, and you have to understand that at the end of the day, you've been in your career for X amount of years. The people that will come through your way, unless they know you for many years, they only have a glimpse of the work and they don't know you as much, so they don't know what you're capable of. So I think school is good. And I always say, people ask me a lot, like, oh, this school or this school. I'm like, it depends what you're looking for as well. I went to the master, this current master, knowing exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to be in touch with a more classical training, doing the live model, drawing a lot, and painting very much of like, how do you use the rectangle, the foreground, the background, the negative space, more formal than conceptual. So that's what I was going to get. And I got it, and I'm using it. And in the way that I'm not using it is also a way of using it, because I'm feeling extremely comfortable in my decision. They're not a decision based on I don't know. They're decision based on, okay, I've got all this knowledge from the conceptual schools, from the formal schools. Okay, now I'm making my own decision and I'm picking what I like in all of them. And I feel confident in my decision to own them. And the recent work is a lot more reduced, and I'm embracing the emptiness and the fullness it creates. But I would not have been able to do that before, because I would have feel like, oh, there's not enough information. Like, hence, I'm not good enough. Like, I had to prove myself. And now I'm like, I've proven myself to myself. I'm owning those decisions because of all that I had. So I really feel there's never like a straight answer in art. There's as many ways to make it or not to make it. There's as many ways to experience your path as there are artists. Because it would be so good if we had a handbook. I wish. There's none. So it's just like there's no right or wrong.
Yeah. It's interesting. You spoke of maturity. Now, I do know that what maturity means in a lot of terms. Like for example, if I had to go to my like Facebook posts from like 10 years ago,
Don't.
probably
That's my only recommendation from someone who's very mature. Don't.
so a lot of them I did delete them, and some of them I make them private. But I do understand like what maturity means over there. What do you think maturity is with art? Because I do know at some level like what maturity might mean, because some of my really early drawings and paintings, they were all like showing somebody doing this, doing that, and I was portraying pain, you
Yeah.
know.
I figured that one. It was not a moment of joy. Also.
So, but now when I look at them, I cringe. I delete them and I hide them. But then sometimes I do look at, like, for example, a very early painting, like Potato Eaters by Van Gogh, one of my favorite paintings. It's very early on in his life. And you see a lot of mistakes in that too, but I feel like I would never be as mature as that person, like, even if I was like
Yeah.
70 years old.
I don't know, because like, I think there's maturity in what I was saying is more like the maturity to own your own personality and what you will accept from other people's opinion and what you will not take. And when you're not mature enough, you tend to like, yes, 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 no, no, no. Like you're just not ready to kind of like filter through. And there's maturity in the work. And I cringe when I look at stuff that I did, you know. And I use it in workshops. Like I gave a lot of workshops to kids. My guys, like, this is the first portrait I did. And they're like, oh. I'm like, this is my career now, you know, it takes a lot of work. And I look at it and but I thought it was good because I was naive or stupid again, most probably stupid, but I was like, oh my God, I'm so good. So I was like, but it's so bad, but it's okay. But at the same time, I feel like there's beauty in this kind of moment that you don't know stuff. And there's beauty in this kind of like assertive brush mark, like you know where it's going, and I like to think that it shows, and we see it in painting from master painters, like they just know, and like there's like it feels like you can see the work behind, and if you're not into minimalist work, like oh it's so easy, but there's like a line made by someone who just makes a line, and there's a line made by and it just hits different.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it. It just has a different emotion when I look at like a line that I would do that has no meaning, and something that has been done by an intentional artist.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think. And there's just people that are just born pretty good.
Yeah.
No, they're just
with
good.
Talent, yeah. Because the thing about the lines, one of the arguments that I have with one of my closest friends, with Ash, almost every single time. One of the arguments that I have with him is that I ask whether you consider signatures as art. Because I always am fascinated by people's signatures. The effortless, like, lines in the signatures is the same effortlessness I see in the master's paintings.
Yeah.
Like, the lines are so effortless and so beautiful. Like, almost every person I know, their paintings, their signatures are beautiful.
But your hand becomes, like, I'm not at the master level, but I see how my hand got more confident. Like I feel like it's an extension of my brain in a way.
Yeah.
And it's the signature. Like I always like did this analogy with the kids. It's like if you're trying to do something, or you're trying to copy or look at an image and copy it, or you want to achieve this thing that's there, but you're just starting, it's gonna look bad. It's like copying the signature of your parents on your on your bad exam.
Yeah.
It just will show because there's not the confidence, and you're trying to take something that's not yours, as when it's like so profoundly yours, it has to show. Even if it's a young hand, it's gonna show some effortless thing.
That's such a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I put it for the kids, and I was like, well, it actually makes sense, you know?
Yeah, no, it does make sense to me. Like copying somebody else's signature, like something. And it's interesting with the signature phenomena too, to me, a lot. Like a lot of people put a lot of effort to make their signatures be representative of them.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
Yeah. Oh. Don't you think?
I don't know.
Like,
I rarely look at signature, I guess.
that's one of the things that I'm really, really fascinated by. Like when I picked up my signature, I would practice it a lot. Like I want it to be something really cool that it represents me. And then I look at my dad's signature. He really is proud of his signature, even till today. My mom, like every person that I've talked to, they're pretty proud of their signature, and they took like intentional time.
Wow.
Like, have you thought about it? Like they
No.
No.
I once forged my own signature. I'm not. I was doing the G.
How do you forge your own signature?
Because my signature changes a lot. And I signed my passport, and they were good for 10 years. And I was taking the GMAT for the PhD, and it's like this exam, and they check everything. Like literally, like they made me raise my pens to see if I had written answers. Like, and then my ID is my passport, and then you have to sign before you go into the exam. And I signed, and she looks at it. She's like, "Well, they're not the same." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to say. This was like X amount of years ago." So I go ahead. I was, "Do you want me to copy my signature?" She's like, "Yes." And I was like, "This is so ridiculous!" Like, and I remember the first time I did my signature was when I opened my bank account. I was shaking like this. Like I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I'm a serious adult, and I was like 11. But I remember the M had this like really rounded calligraphy. Now I'm like more like a straight lines. Yeah. So it changes. Yeah.
So you're probably my first example of somebody who didn't think a lot about their signature.
Well, I guess that when I was 11, I took a lot of care into making it like, but it was my full name, It was not a scribble, and I never really thought about it after. Mm. I think in my work, I thought about it in the sense of I used to sign MC Duval. Mm. And people were like, "Oh, Mac Duval." And I was like, "Oh, no. Like, no. This is not what's happening here." And then I put thought in, do I sign Marie-Chloé Duval or do I sign Duval? Mm-hmm. And I was at a time, like, we're talking like 10 years ago. Mm. It's like, I don't know if I want people to know that I didn't have a phone back then. I didn't even know about social media. So this is like, I thought that people would only see my work and never see my face. But now, like, no one could dissociate both. Mm. But I wanted this name to be genderless. Mm. There's not too many indication of who made the painting. To kind of like remove any possible interpretation of the work other than what you're experimenting or experiencing.
Do you interpret a man's painting differently than a woman's painting? Do you do that?
I do the same with paintings that I used to do in criminology, which is not read the files and not read the art statement. Mm-hmm. I like to have a first experience with either the person or either the work and have an experience, have an emotional experience, and then get surprised by what I read. And maybe having more insight into what I'm looking at after, and then revisiting the encounter. Like, oh, was I right? Was I not right? I feel like we associate by, we've been told that there's male energy, female energy, there's this, there's that. So it's so easy to be like, oh, this is like such a man painting, which I feel like, no, that there's no such thing. There's a softness to some paintings, but it doesn't mean a man or a woman or non-binary person has done it. It has nothing to do. I think it's like more of like how you're feeling, what you're putting in the world. Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I think a lot about most of the time, like with art, with writing, with paintings and everything. If I know the producer of that art is whether they're female or male, I judge them a certain way. I do that.
Why is that?
And that's with paintings, for example. With paintings, sometimes I look at it, I feel like, oh, so this was drawn by a person. I really relate to that person, and this is where the feelings come from. And then when I see the same painting done by a female, I don't relate to that. I'm like, probably this comes from a different place.
You gotta work on it.
Yeah. And that's been the thing. Like recently, I was talking about the exact same thing to a friend, and I was saying, you know what? Like, I've never read a really inspirational book by a depressed woman. I was like, I've never read a book by a woman who's depressed.
It's funny, like I never even put any like thinking of who wrote the book.
Yeah.
I just dive in. Like I read the first page. If I'm diving in, I'm diving in.
You're miles ahead of me on that thing. But with that thing, and then she said, well, I'll show you some really
Yes.
depressed women, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is what it is. And then for a very long time, I've been thinking about this, and like intentionally, I pull up work that's been done by someone, and I look at it, how does it make me feel? I cannot tell how it makes me feel if I don't know the gender of the producer.
So
the moment I know, I start judging.
But you're looking with a judgment eye.
Yes.
Not with a observer or accepting eye then.
Yes.
And it's a very different, and like when I go to see art, I try not to think as an artist. Because then I'm in it, not judging, but kind of judging,
Yeah.
Because I'm going like, oh, why did they put this color there? Why is that good? Why is that not good? But I'm trying really hard, but it's almost impossible to look at art just without thinking, because I do that all the time. This is my everyday life, is like looking at painting, and like I've been trained to critique and observe and look at how it's made. But I just wish I could go as a neutral body of person that is only there to feel an emotion. And it happens. And it happens a lot, because I go and I see so much art. And when I see something that, oh my God, like, I don't know why, but I'll see something at a art fair or museum, and I'll be like walking, and I see something, I'm like, oh. And then it moves me, and the story doesn't matter. But I'm always questioning too, because the context of where I'm looking at the art, that influences a lot. And I'm trying to see, oh, do I feel like it's a great painting because it's here and there's centuries of people saying it's a great painting? Or do I actually feel something regardless of, like, if I take this piece and I put it in my grandma's house, will I have the same feeling? And I always put all the pieces in the museum in my grandma's house. I'm like, oh, no, it doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm judging based on something that is irrelevant. But if a piece is really striking an emotion, then even in grandma's house it works.
Yeah. That's because that's a very good point. Even in grandma's houses, that's poetry.
Yeah.
I saw a little note on your in your studio. Make poetry.
Be poetic.
Be poetic.
Yeah.
Yes, be poetic.
Yeah.
That's how you feel about art.
Yeah. About life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have this like poetic, not too obvious, this kind of like, well, what is it, you know? The openness. Because I feel like in poetry, it's very open to interpretation most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. And for me, poetic is having a rhythm as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a reminder to have this rhythm, be open. Yeah, it's a bit of all this. I don't know, I just wrote it. I'm trying to justify what I wrote, but it was just like, be poetic. Yeah. And just below it's written varied languages, in the sense of like varying the way I paint, with like thick, soft, intense, reduce. So kind of also to support the idea of being poetic. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason that it stuck with me again. I have so many problems. I have so many issues. But this podcast.
Remember, I go to bed early. We won't fix it all.
But this podcast is probably a very good therapy for me too.
I always end up being the therapist, and I never get paid. This is terrible.
So the issue that I have always had with poetry is you may not know about this, but that region where I come from, everything that they have is just poetry. Nothing else. That entire region have the best poets.
You have to share with me.
Like Rumi, probably you've heard
Yes.
of Rumi. Rumi is from that region. He is like from my country. That's pretty much the only export we had, and everybody is so proud of that thing. And for anybody in the newer generation who want to like break out of that cycle and kind of show that you're good for something else as well, you kind of have to distance yourself a little bit about from poetry, because poetry reminds you of your lazy uncle.
The standards are too high. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna pick my own path.
So that's the kind of thing. But at the same time, they say, the tree the apple doesn't fall far away from the tree. So every time I see a good poetry, I'm like, oh, what did she say? What did she say? So the moment I saw that thing on your wall, I was like, oh, she's into poetry. Oh, that excited me.
Yeah. I'm not even like a big poetry reader. It's great. I write a lot. Not that it's any good, but I really love writing. And when I find a poem that I love, there's no better thing,
Yeah, okay.
But I'm pretty... Yeah, there are stuff that I really love. But when it's too up in the clouds and feels too forced, or maybe I just really don't understand it, I'm not at that level, it doesn't get me. Yeah.
One of the things, for example, just related to this poetry, my father's last name is Nahalkar. What it means is somebody, a gardener, to like simplify it in a very simple way.
Yeah.
What it means as a gardener. And my father has always been a teacher. He has always been teaching. And throughout my life, I was always kind of very insecure with his last name. I was like, other people's last name is like a lion and a king, because that's
The gardener is the best. He's planting the seeds and he's growing.
Because that was the thing. Like everybody, you walked outside, everybody's last name. In Afghanistan, everybody's last name. You pick your last name, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. It's a culture that like everybody, when they grow up, when you come of age, you pick up your last name.
So that means that you have a different last name than your dad.
Yes.
What's yours?
My name is
The
Jacob.
lion. You're like, I'm done with this garden. No, you're regretting, huh? Don't you want to be a gardener?
My last name is my great-grandfather's last name, which is stupid.
No, you have to spell now. You have to spell the T.
Jacoby, like Jacoby,
Which means
which means Jacob, like somebody related to Jacob.
there's no meaning.
No meaning.
Okay.
So that's the thing. I judged my father my entire life, and this is what my last name is.
Yeah, he might be judging you right now. I don't know.
But that's the thing. And once I grew up and I came here, and after a very long time, and I thought about it, I was like, what a fucking fitting name.
Yeah.
Like a gardener for a teacher.
Yeah. I think it's extra poetic, by
Yes,
the way. Yeah,
yes.
it's
So
gorgeous.
that's why I was like, okay, like this guy, he picked up his last name, Gardner. So again, at the end of the day, I come back to poetry.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, how far away I run from it, but I come back to that very cringy, poetic.
Yeah. It's not cringy. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with you. Great poetry is wonderful.
Oh my God, it's the best.
Yeah. You brought up you sleeping early.
Oh, yes.
I'm not keeping you. I still have some time, no?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I have no idea what time it is, though. Yeah, we
No,
could.
we do have time. You sleep early. Is that also a schedule because of your busy life?
Like, I don't sleep that early.
You sleep 10 o'clock.
No, I like to be like...
Grandmas sleep
Yes.
at 10 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, I sleep at 10 o'clock. Too.
No, but I sleep at like 11, but I like to kind of
Oh, okay.
wind down. Wind down?
Yes?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. At like 10. And my days are filled with a lot of people, and I'm like a little bit of an introvert. I'm like both, but I know that if I have a full day of people, I can't just get home at 11 and I don't have time to, get back, do my emails, watch an episode, read a book. Mostly watch an episode these days. I have been really bad at reading my books, but I usually do that. But yeah, I just really know myself. I know that at 9 p.m., unless I'm not talking every day of the week, but I have few nights, I have my friends, I'm doing something, like I'm happy to be out longer, like 10. But most generally on a weekday.
Look at you, crazy. 10.
Yeah. I'm like those people that's like, what? They do raves in coffee shops in the daytime? This is my jam, But I like to get up fresh and early, and yeah. And I own it, and I'm a grandma, and like I send photos of my tea to my friends. So I have this friend, which is one of my closest friends in New York, and she's 51, I'm 34. She's very fun. And she's like, oh, MC, you would have loved me when I was young and going out. I was like, no. Are you kidding? That would have been way too much pressure. I love sending you a photo of my mint tea at 9:30. She's like, I love it too. So I'm like, okay.
So I don't think here's one of the things that I believe is that once a person starts being really serious about life, their schedule for sleep and waking up becomes a thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah. And
every time I see someone who doesn't have a schedule for going to bed and waking up, I'm like, okay, they still have a few years to start getting serious about life.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm just happier. I'm like happy to have energy. It's terrible to not have energy to do something.
Yeah.
And I don't see the point, because also I see things as a cost and benefit in terms of like, where do I invest my time? Where do I give energy? And then also, where do I recharge? And I've got to know what gives me energy and what takes away energy, and how to kind of balance it as much as I can. I'm always pushing it a little bit too much, but it's just it's a good investment for me to go to bed early, and I'm just happier this way, and I sleep really well.
I really like your choice of words. Like, it's a very good investment for me to go to bed early.
Sounds good, huh?
Right?
I never even said anything like that.
I'm telling you.
This microphone makes me sound so smart. I'm like, well, I gotta say proper things because like there's a whole equipment here.
No, seriously, you're so unintentionally poetic.
You should have. You don't speak French, but I had an interview on Radio Canada, which is NBC here, CBS.
Canada Broadcasting Corporation?
Yes.
CBC.
Yes.
I don't know.
So I had an interview, and the woman calls me, and I'm thinking it's a preliminary thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking in a very rural Quebec French. Because the way I speak French here, mostly I'm with French people or second language French. So my French has gotten more proper.
Okay.
And I don't want to sound pretentious. It's just, it has changed a little bit. So and now I'm like feeling like I'm with my family, and like sometimes I just enjoy like really speaking my Quebec French. So I'm all in my Quebec French, talking, not making any sense. And then at the end of this half an hour talk, like, so when are we setting up the interview? And she's like, well, that was it. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, it was not that bad because I'm not like a rude person by any means or like saying terrible things. It's not like I have to filter myself, but I was just, oh my God. So yes, this makes me feel like I have to say smart things and be proper in a little way.
But Quebec French, like, would you say Quebec French? What does that mean? Is that like a southern twang, like Southern English?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And it depends where you're from, you know.
Okay.
And yeah, and every area they have a different kind of accent. So my area is not too strong, but yeah, we do have a way of saying things.
That's interesting. So what is considered a proper French, like Parisian French?
I think everyone has like but like if you were to learn in the books of how to speak, you know, my brother learned English more in the books. I learned English more in the streets. So,
okay.
You know, like talking to people, working. So my English was a lot more casual. And then is English, that was the proper way of learning English. And if you hear anyone who learns French, who's an immigrant, they learn French, they live in Quebec, their French is perfectly beautiful.
Because they try to make it formal?
You just learn it the right, more proper way without all the shorting of the words. And I realized that having a boyfriend who was an American years ago, and he understood French. I could not speak with him. It was so tiresome because I realized like the way I speak French, I cut the words so much that it makes it impossible for someone. So I was like talking more properly, which means saying the words fully and making sentences that are not like shortcuts into, like the first time someone said Haida.
Haida?
Like, hi, how are you doing? You
Oh,
know?
okay. Howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, howdy is not proper English.
Yeah.
How you doing is proper English.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah.
I have no clue, you know, what is happening here. So that's a good example, you know.
Yeah.
I would say howdy,
Yeah.
not howdy. I can't even say that. Anyhow.
Yeah. French will be Audi, right? Audi.
In the car?
No, but like if you're speaking French, you're not gonna be saying howdy. You're gonna be saying Audi.
Yes, but yes.
Hospital, right? You don't pronounce the H.
No, you don't. Yes, you don't say the H.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always still confusing to me sometimes. I'm like, H, no H. Yeah.
So one of the other things about language is also like people who adopt the language, they try to make it very difficult too. There is a poet in Persian language, and he used to be Indian, and then he learned Persian, and that is one of the most difficult poetry to read
Really?
in Persian. Yes, because for some reason he tried his best to make it super proper,
Yes.
super difficult English.
Well, I was
Persian.
telling you about this PhD exam. I had to learn thousands of words.
Mm-hmm.
It was like conundrum, and I was like flashcards everywhere. And I had this partner who was a American born and raised. I was like, oh, what is this word? What's the meaning? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was like, how are you not knowing? I have to learn all these words that no one is using. And like, I read a Walden, you know, and I was like, well, it was so hard for me to read because of this older English,
Yeah.
very proper, all the words in this kind of like perfect English, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is he saying? Like, it was more complicated for sure.
So be honest, what is Parisian French considered? Is it considered cool? Is it considered...
No, I don't. I really don't have any. I don't think anything is cool or not cool, but I don't really have like a. I don't know.
Because, for example, I feel Brooklyn is cool.
Oh yeah, that's true. Brooklyn is
Right.
cool.
So what is Paris considered among the francophones? Is it considered a cool place or no?
I think it's considered
place?
a beautiful romantic place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think no one does not love. I don't know if it makes any sense. Yeah, Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you say proper French, what does that French mean? Like just proper words or a specific accent?
No, not the accent. Just as I was saying, like kind of like saying, you know, there's a book to learn English, there's a book to learn Farsi, there's a book to learn French, and we all start with the same baseline. Then we adapt it.
Yeah.
So when I say proper, I kind of say that guide handbook that you're given, and then you adapt it.
Yeah.
So it's not more proper or better or worse. It's just that starting point.
You're being too nice. I do know.
I'm Canadian.
I know there is a good English. You know Matthew McConaughey?
Yes.
I think that's proper English. Every other English is bullshit.
Okay. We've got one. I will like listen to him and try to make my English sound like him. I'll get on it.
Yeah, I always feel like his English is probably the best English. Yeah.
No, I'm nice. I'm Canadian. Like, I don't say anything that's... like, I'll probably say sorry for being nice, you know?
Yeah. You do say sorry a lot?
Yes.
Yeah? Because you're Canadian? Because of that or no?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, my friend's like, oh, it's your fault. I mean, oh, stop it. Like, I mean, I'm sorry you're feeling this way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm feeling this way because of you? Just like to make me realize that I don't have a reason to be sorry for that specific.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just so in me to say sorry.
Yeah.
Like I was walking in the streets of New York and someone literally was on his phone, not ran, but just like hit me quite hard. And he got surprised because, you know, he walked into me and like and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I'm like, and then he's like, no, you're not. And he screams at me. And I was so shook. And then I was replaying the whole thing. I was like, wait, why am I sorry? Because this guy literally walked into me and I'm sorry. And I'm getting screamed at it. And I'm sorry even more. And I was like, oh my God, this has to stop. No, I've screamed at people. So I think I'm a New Yorker now. You know?
Yeah, New York is not for beginners. I have.
Oh no, it's like for the hardcore people. Like, yeah.
I have a friend who visited here, and she had a similar experience, and she was like, so the person turned back and said to her, like, stay in your lane, as if they were cars, like right.
I mean, I have to agree with that.
Yes.
There's
yes.
nothing more annoying than like when it's like 4 people walking your way, and you're like, no, I just like want a little lane to pass, and they're not moving.
Yes.
Yes.
That thing annoys me too. Like when people are in the sidewalk, like in the.
There are lines.
Yes. And there are 4 or 5 people and then blocking the entire street.
Yes. We agree.
Yes. All right. Okay. I'm getting into the bullshit realm, so I'm gonna stop it.
Talking about like people screaming on. But yeah, no, New York is not for the fainted heart.
Yes.
That's what we say?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Proper English.
But yeah, you have to say it in Matthew McConaughey's accent.
Oh, I will watch some reels on my way home to Brooklyn.
Yes.
The cool.
Yeah. All right.
He says that, or yes?
Yeah,
okay.
That's from one of his movies, but I butchered it. Anyways,
I'll judge when I watch the real version of it.
Anyways, you're on Instagram.
Yes. I post all my stories.
Yeah, and I'm genuinely a fan of your Instagram.
Thank you.
It's always something fun to watch over there.
Thank you. Well,
and it's
I'll
always
post this.
Smart.
It's gonna be very fun.
Yes, yeah. What's your Instagram?
Well, the handle is duval.art, DUVAL.ART. ART. So my last name.
That's Instagram.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'll put that in the notes as well. And you have a website?
Yeah. It's mostly Instagram, but it's www.mcduval.com.
mcduval.com. Okay. And that's where people can buy your art?
So I don't have like a transactional website, but I put examples of few pieces in each series. You can navigate, you can see the statement, you can see what my work is about, some experiences, whatnot, some poetry. And people contact me, either there are works with the galleries, or I also sell to my collectors, client, and I will ask what they're looking for and come with a selection of pieces that are available, and then we look through it.
So you generally do it from Instagram? Pretty much all the selling and discovering? No?
I think Instagram is a window into what I do.
I mean, if people wanted to buy your art,
they can email me. They can. It's mostly like emails, website, Instagram. People who saw work at a show, or people who saw work at someone's house. A lot of that. And they always find a way to contact me. There's not like a one thing. And Instagram is not for me a platform to sell. If it can show people what I do and how serious I am about my work, I see it more as a window of like, okay, this is what I do. This is the work behind. This is the meaning. Kind of like giving a window into my art practice. I don't use it as like, oh, I'm going to sell my piece through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of these pieces right now I saw in your studio. You're going to be moving them out of there probably?
Yes, well, right now there's the show, and then at the end of the month I'm moving studio. So, yeah.
Your show is what, on 15th?
Yeah. 15th.
And I
Thursday.
really want to finish the editing of this thing before that, so I can put this online.
Yeah, and it's going to go all the way to May 28th.
Oh, okay. So I do have some time.
You have some time.
I'll definitely make it to 15th. You're going to be there?
Of course.
On 15th?
Of course.
Okay. On
5
the
to 8. I'm there for the opening.
Yeah?
I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a big leap. I was saying like a big leap of faith. This kind of like, it's been an ongoing series for 2 years, but I feel within that series, it evolved a lot. And I feel so strongly about what I'm presenting and how this is going to just keep growing. I feel I have like so much to push into it. So.
Is it just you, or are there be other artists?
So
as
it's
well?
all the MFA student, all the Master of Fine Arts student. There's 13 of us.
Oh, okay.
And everyone has a room. So it's basically the whole building is transformed into exhibition rooms. So it's a group show. It's a solo show among other solo shows in a way. Yeah.
Well, for people who don't know your art, I have seen it. They're very posh. That's why.
Posh?
Yes, that's what my feeling is. I feel like I have to have like $2 million apartment to put your art.
Oh my
there.
God, no.
I cannot put it in like a $1,000 apartment.
Yes. What is this thing? No, my art is so. It's.
No,
I make it for people who want to engage with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, but they look super nice.
Thank
they
you.
They look very expensive.
I think it's all the work in it.
It's probably because they're really big canvases.
I have really big and like, well, you've seen the show at my place, but I have really tiny ones as well.
Yeah.
I like playing on the scale of things. But no, they're...
But I think you should lean into it. I think your art is really... They look expensive. They should go expensive. Well, I know you're being nice.
From the price range I have to $1 million, I'll give myself a couple years, you know? I mean, I could price it $1 million, but I don't think it would do me any service or any art lover any service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want my art to be... I mean, art is a beautiful thing to have. It's still a choice of where you put your money. So even if I say, oh yeah, they are accessible within what is the art world reality of how much is a painting. But it still, remains something that is not an essential.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an essential.
Yeah.
To live with art, but you get my point.
Yeah.
And I'm very considerate of it, and I want my work to live with people. I don't want my work to be in a storage.
Yeah.
I make it to be alive with the right home, the right family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're being humble, and I appreciate that. But I do believe your art is super good.
Thank you. I believe it's really good. Don't get me wrong. I love my work. I'm like so proud of it. I would never put it there.
Yeah. And I do feel they look way too expensive, but I appreciate that you want to make it accessible to all of us.
Yeah.
Bums.
In all the apartments of New York City. So.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you very much
so
for
much.
your time.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, merci. Yeah.
Merci is the same in Farsi.
Merci. Let me pronounce. Let me translate that. You said merci is the same in Farsi.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah.
I understood that.
Yeah.
See,
but I said it in English.
French.
I said merci is the same in Farsi. I would hope you understand that one.
Say one sentence in French, but say it really slow.
In the proper French. Merci, c'était un plaisir d'être ici avec toi ce soir.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you this evening.
Almost on point. It's amazing. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Listen to that.
Okay,
Cheers.
we can't get any better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.